So here's a quick catch up from last time. We had Christmas on the beach.
Oh, some Pims. Yeah, I'll have some Pims.
Oscar's made it specially for you.
Oh, great. Thanks, Oscar.
New Year's Day, somebody went swimming. The three kings visited by boat and handed out lots of sweets to the kids in our Miramar. And I got all alarmed. So why did I get all alarmed? Well, take a look at these drawings. When we took delivery of Impavidus, the bilge pump was activated by a bilge switch via a relay and fuses. This makes it basically a manual bilge pump.
Can you read Chinese?
Now, our way of thinking, if you're going to have a bilge pump, it needs to be automatic and you need to be able to override that if necessary. So before we left, we fitted a fully automatic bilge pump with its own inbuilt sensor. So this is the schematic drawing for that system.
I can't. Good job this what came in this little box is a pretty simple circuit. Before I show you what it is, I need to tell you some history. When our boat arrived, it arrived with one of these. This is a 45 litre per minute bilge pump made by Whale. In the event that you have a hole in your boat or water coming into your boat, into the bilges from, let's say, your water tank or a hose that's come off of a seacock or something like that, this pump won't pump that water out until you notice it. Hopefully you'll see it rising, the water rising through the companionway, or you'll see the floorboards floating around your cabin, or you sleep with your feet over the end of the bed and you'll be woken by the ever rising water. This pump will not stop your boat sinking unless you go over to the panel over there and switch the pump on.
Yes, your boat will sink unless you switch the bilge pump on.
So when we left the UK, before we left the UK, I fitted a similar pump to this one, which has, didn't I, Mr. GoPro? Which has three wires. It still has a black which goes to the negative, a brown which goes to the switches via the relay, but it also has a yellow wire which is a permanent live back to our domestic battery bank on the positive side via a fuse.
So this system automatically cuts in if there's water detected.
In the event that water comes into your bilges, what happens is that pump detects it via a little sensor inside and immediately starts pumping. However, what it doesn't do is it doesn't tell you that it's working. So you don't know you've had water in your bilges.
There's no alarm system or facility for it built into this type of pump. Crazy.
So at first I thought of monitoring the voltage on the return line with a reed switch and 3 or 4 turns of wire around that to activate an alarm. I would have to build it, design it myself and connect it all up, and actually all I want...
Hang on a minute, I hear you say. Why don't you simply fit a float switch to the bilge pump and then add an alarm in that circuit? Well, here's why. The problem with this system is if the float switch becomes jammed or locks or fails, once again your bilge pumps don't come on. We know of boats where the float switch has failed, the pumps haven't come on, and consequently the boat has sunk. Having a system where the alarm is independent from the pump but the pump's still automatic gives you the best of both worlds. The alarm comes on and the pump comes on, and there's no float switch which can help the system fail. both the alarm and the pump are independent.
Was a simple water detector, which is what this is. Piezoelectric siren here, a couple of transistors, a power transistor, some relays and bits and bobs in there. In fact, they're not relays, they are diodes.
And actually, when you look at it, you can have more than one sensor in more than one part of the boat. And of course this is a much simpler system where the alarms are independent and don't rely on the float switch activating. So there's a number of other alarms that we have on our boat. We use the same policy, make them independent and check them every month.
Here is our smoke alarm. And why is it fitted up there? Well away from the galley, where Cindy's just made a nice cup of coffee. Well, the heat and smoke from the cooking, not that Cindy's cooking smokes, would set it off. So we have our smoke alarm up there, and it's just a domestic one that works on 9 volts. You push the button for 5 seconds just to test it, and that's on our once a month to do checklist. And over the back, if I can get there, behind my vodka and Cindy's famous grouse, is our CO2 alarm. So this again gets tested once a month on the monthly test list. Let's show you the gas alarm. Down here at the bottom of our companionway is, if I can see if I can get there with the camera, is our gas alarm, and that gets tested once a month too. It's out the way of foot traffic next to our engine cut-off switch. So that's the main alarms on the boat. So there is actually another alarm on this panel. I've disconnected the autopilot outside so that you can see where that alarm is. So if I turn on our stereo, little yellow light comes on. If I now turn on our autopilot, you'll see that that light flashes, which means that there's no load on that circuit, and that's an alarm or warning to tell you. And that happens on all of these other circuits. If there's something that isn't working, the light will flash. So they're all our safety alarms, and we have another set of alarms here on our switch panel. When the aft fresh water runs out, which it will do soon, a little red light will come up just here. Obviously that's not a critical safety alarm, but we then have to switch over to our forward tank. Wait, you two, you're supposed to be supervising.
We do have 2 other alarms on the boat, and they're probably the best alarms we have.
Has Mummy got your blanket? She got your blanket? What? You keeping an eye on things, Oz? Are you keeping an eye on things? Your waggy tail. It's a good job we got blankets down, isn't it? You're not going to have a scratch?
What rather sweet. Sweeties. Somebody woke up and they heard the
Somebody woke up, yeah.
We had a lovely meal Christmas Day with some of our fellow yachty friends. So, New Year's Day I decided to join the group of mad people that were going for a swim. The water was refreshing, but it was so great to be back in the water, and especially on New Year's Day, a tradition of mine. There is a great community here at El Miramar. We couldn't have picked a better place to spend our first winter away from home. Thanks for watching. Please share, like and subscribe, or look us up on Facebook in Pavidus on the Boat. Comments are always welcome. Sail safe.
Sail safe. Bye.
Bye.